Hello, I'm Dennis with doityourselfdennis.com, and in this video I'm going to show you how to install a dryer vent through a brick wall. Starting out inside, I was going to kind of show you, there's not a lot of room in here, so I'm going to try to show you where we're going to take the dryer vent from and where it's going to. So basically, if we turn around this way, straight down, the dryer vent's going to be behind this wall. It comes out and then it's going to come up and then come through here, this void up here, and across. You see all that? And we're going to end up going out through this void up here. So we need a couple of starting points to get some measurements from, and there's a couple of them. You've got this electric goes out, and then also there's an air conditioning line over here that goes out. So we're going to go off the air conditioning line and get some measurements. What we're going to do is we're going to measure over from that air conditioning line. Can you see that okay? And about the center of that void's about 43 inches. And then from the top of that air conditioning line, I've already measured it, it's about 14 inches, brings us up to about the center of that void. So that's how we're going to run it out. So now let's go outside and we'll get the measurements and figure out exactly where we're going to end up out there. Okay, so here's our air conditioning line coming out. And I've already drilled some of my holes. So what we're going to do, we're going to measure over, and it was 43 inches to the center. So that's going to be about right here. And then we were going 14 inches up. So what I did was I measured from the top of this air conditioning line 14 inches, brings us to this mortar joint. And so now we're just going to move that mortar joint over, just kind of eye it, and just kind of keep an eye on mark it where you're going to be at. So then we had the 43 inches came to here, and so because of this air conditioning unit, I had to move it over just a little bit because otherwise I couldn't get my drill in here. And something I originally was going to do was I was going to bring it over a little closer, but this electric gets in the way. This is the electric coming from, can you see that? This is the electric coming from the circuit breaker box, and this is electric going down to a metal building around the back. But so I had to move it over a couple inches, but it still gives us plenty of room. And I've gone ahead and drilled my holes. What you're going to want to do is drill a series of holes so that you can break this all out. And what I started with a smaller bit and drilled through the brick, and then I got a longer bit, and I'm going to drill all the way through and also drill through the plate that goes, the band that goes around the outside of the house that's inside. So let me go ahead and finish getting this drilled, and then I'll show you how we break it all out. Okay, a couple things I want to point out. I didn't tell you before. When you drill your first hole, go inside and make sure you're where you want to be, and before you drill the rest of them. And something else about where I moved it over a couple inches, it really kind of helped me because it put a lot of the line in this joint right here. So it's a whole lot easier to drill in a mortar joint than it is to drill through the brick. And what I used was to make my circle, I used a 4-inch round electric box, because the pipe that sticks through is a 4-inch pipe. So that's what I did. I just marked my lines with it, used it as a pattern. So next we're just going to break this brick out and We might have to chisel a little bit of it, but let's just go ahead and break it out. Be a good idea to wear goggles. I don't have any with me, so I'm going to do it without. I don't have any with me, so I'm going to do it without. Okay, so we're going to break this out. Get you a pair of goggles. Keep it from stuff flying into your eyes. You can probably use a regular hammer, but a mason's hammer is really better for this. Use a regular hammer, but a mason's hammer is really better for this. All right, we got our hole knocked out. You can take your template that you used, put it in there, make sure it's going to fit good and stiff. So now we're ready to cut the wood out, and what I'm going to do with it, I'm going to drill a few more holes so that I can bust it out. So let me get those holes drilled and then we'll knock it out. Okay, let me show you the holes that I drilled. If you want to look inside this hole, if you can zoom in, I drilled all the way around. You can try and take your drill bit and water one of them out, so that, because the next thing we're going to use, you want to zoom back out, or can they see that okay? Or okay, we're going to use a reciprocating saw, or a sawzall some people call them, to cut the rest of it out. You might be able to take a hammer and just bust it out, but I'm going to try and get this saw in there and see if I can cut it out. So you take your, this is your exhaust for your dryer vent, and you try to put it in, and I don't think it's gonna, I think I need to cut a little bit out. So we're gonna go back and cut some more out. So I want to point out about this vent. Can you zoom in on it? These vents seem to come apart real easy. So what I do is I'll take a screw, a couple of screws, and put them in at the seam. I usually drill the hole first. Usually it tries to come apart if you don't. So I drill a small hole first, and then I put my screws in and hold it together good. So let me get the rest of this cut out, and then we'll be back. Okay, so we've got this cut out. Our vent pipe goes through. I don't want to attach it yet. I want to wait until after I've got the inside done. So let's go on inside, and then we'll finish that up in there. Okay, so now that we're inside, we're going to determine where we want the dryer vent to be. And I'm going to put it here. I mean, every job is going to be different, but I'm just going to use the same pattern that I used before. This round work box is 4 inches. So I'm going to cut me a hole. What?
Between the studs.
Yeah, you want to make sure you're between the studs. There's a stud here and there's a stud over here. So let me cut that. So we're just going to take our drywall saw, cut our hole out. I want to point out we're going to change this drywall out eventually, but this is a job in progress, so I just don't have the time to change it right now, but I'm going to eventually change this drywall out. It's got a little bit of mold and mildew here. Okay, so our pipe's going to run through there, and we're going to run it from inside. And it's probably going to be too small a space in there to show you exactly how I run the vent, but I'll try to show you. Okay, when cutting this sheet metal, this pipe, It's a little hard to make a straight line, so the best way to do it, what I do is I'll measure around it. And I'll mark, I'm going to cut this at 8 inches. So I just measure around it and I mark it every couple inches. And it kind of gives you some kind of a straight line to go by. With it being round, it's just a little difficult to draw a straight line. So that's the easiest way I've found to go about cutting it. And you just take some thin snips and you can see the line well enough. So this is the piece that's going to go through the wall, and then we're going to have an elbow on the other side that'll, you know, go like this. So you just snap these together. Okay, when you put these pieces together, these short pieces, they tend to come apart real easy. So I like to take a piece of tape, a piece of duct tape, and I'll run it along the seam. And you don't want to just use any tape. They make duct tape just for dryer vents. I guess you could use it for other things, but the main thing is dryer vents. So it's an aluminum foil type. So we're going to take the backing off. Maybe. Well. Okay. And we're going to tape that seam so it doesn't come apart while we're working with it. Then the rest of these, so then we're going to go ahead and put this together. And we're going to go ahead and tape it. The reason you don't really want to run screws through it is because then the lint get caught on it, possible fire hazard. So we're going to take and cut us a piece. You can wrap around it, get an idea how long you need to make it. You got to take the back off. They sell this tape at Lowe's, Home Depot. You're just going to wrap it all the way around it to make it airtight and also hold it together. And then you would go on with the next piece. So it's going to go together like this. Oops, actually this goes together like this. This is the piece that's going to go through the wall, and this is the piece that's going to go up. So we're going to tape it on. Again, we're going to kind of measure about what we need. Yeah. And you can also take and just fold a little bit of it back and get it started so you don't get it kinked up, and then just roll it the rest of the way around. And just undo the paper as you go. So that's how you get that's how you put the ductwork together. Now I'm going to take and put this through the wall, and it's going to come up and then come through the void. So I'll try to show you that when I get to that point. To put these pipes together, it can be a little tricky. What you do is you got to push them down, line the seams up, and you just kind of push them down. Start at one end and then just work your way to the other end. Kind of squeeze it together as you go. That's how you put them together. To take them apart, you just do the opposite. You got to push down on one end and just kind of try to pull apart, and then just work your way to the other end. Okay, I want to show you this. If you have a piece of pipe that doesn't have the crimp on either end, you can create your own crimp. What I'll do is I'll take a pair of channel locks. You can probably do it with needle nose pliers, regular pliers, and you just go in about an inch and crimp it. Just work your way around. Just work your way around like that. I've already got one that's already crimped, and you can just take it, put it together just like you would the others. Push it on there. Something else I wanted to show you. This is the piece that goes outside, obviously. You might want to go ahead and put a piece of tape around it just to kind of hold it together, because they seem to come apart pretty easy. They've just got a little bitty flange on there that they catch on. So it's a good idea to go ahead and tape it around there. And now I'm going to go ahead and run a piece of tape around this, and that'll hold all that together. So I just wanted to show you that little bit. Okay, we're ready to install our vent pipe coming out of the house. What I did, I went ahead and taped my pipe, my extension pipe out. If you're going out further, it's easier to go ahead and tape it because there's not a lot of room because of the plate going around the house. There's not a lot of room to work with. So I went ahead and taped it on there. Slide it in. Get it lined up where we want it to be. And I had to trim my pencil down a little bit in order to get back through these holes. So you're just going to mark it. Pull it back out and drill our holes. All right, we're just going to use some plastic anchors. You can buy lead anchors, different kinds of anchors, but I'm going to use plastic. So we're going to drill a hole, 1/4 inch hole. Okay, so we're ready to put our anchors in. Just tap them in. Pipe in. Put our screws in. You don't want to over tighten them too tight. Okay, so now that's set, you could take some caulk and put it around the edge just to keep the weather out. You don't have to really worry about too much on the bottom, but to keep the rain out completely, you can put some caulk around the edge. So now we're ready to go inside and finish hooking it up inside. Okay, we're ready to put all our piece together in here. Just going to line it up, just push it together. and then we're ready to tape it. Well, hmm.
If you can separate it.
So that's it. That's all there is to running a dryer vent out a brick wall. Check out my other videos at doityourselfdennis.com, and thanks for watching.